Hello and welcome to the Aid Station. I'm Chris Robb and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Lorna Campbell, the Head of Communications for Abbott World Marathon Majors. Welcome, Lorna. Great to see you.
Hi, Chris. Good to see you again.
Yeah, we go back a long time from your Singapore days, and obviously you're now working in an amazing role, and you're calling in from Rhode Island, just off Boston. And I'd love to start by just giving you a bit of an opportunity to tell us a little bit about you, your background. Obviously, clearly it's a Scottish accent, but a little bit of your journey to here.
Yeah, I was thinking yesterday, I think we've known each other nearly 15 years now, which is kind
Wow.
of incredible. Yeah. So originally from Scotland, a small town called Kelso in the Scottish borders, and grew up with a passion for sports. And that took me to Loughborough University, where I did sports science and physical education as my degree there. Um, After a number of hurdles in sport, being a female and those various challenges, and not being very well connected, I landed in Singapore through strange circumstances, and started my career in sports PR and communications. And 12 years in Singapore, working for an agency, then freelancing for 5 years, and then back with a bigger agency. Doing a range of events, lots of your events, Chris, cycling events, running events, can't even think of Asian Youth Games, netball, a whole variety of sports, lots of golf. I have now ended up in the US and continuing my communications journey, and it's been sports throughout that journey. So that takes me on to, sort of 15, 16 years in the profession. Been extremely fortunate to have worked with some of the best people in the industry and worked on some of the best events. I've now done 3 Olympic Games. Tokyo should have been my 4th and hopefully will be my 4th, albeit a little bit delayed. And I've worked in 4 Commonwealth Games with Team Scotland. Just very, very fortunate, but hugely passionate about sport. And sport literally has taken my career from Europe to Asia and now to America, which is very different to life back in Singapore, but a year and a half now, becoming settled here, adjusting to the ways here, enjoying lots of American sports, finally understanding a little bit more about NFL and baseball and all those kind of things. And running has not only become a personal hobby, but it's now my daily digest, working with the top marathons, the 6 world marathon majors. So it's still global, still lots of travel, but working from home and really enjoying that.
Wonderful. And you say working from home. Obviously, we were talking a little bit before we started recording. You're locked down, but you're allowed to get out and run and do some exercise, which is crucial to you. But tell us a little bit, please, about what life's like from day to day for you.
Yeah, so I'm fortunate in some ways that our team is actually all remote, so I do work from home anyway. So in terms of an adjustment from working from home, there is no change for me. It's as is. But yeah, we're lucky. I do enjoy running. So I go out and run every day or every other day. I'm able to cycle when the weather's good enough. We're still just coming into spring here. It's a little bit slow. We've had crazy storms. We had snow a couple of weeks ago, so cycling's not so easy. We actually have snow in Chicago today. My boss sent me a picture, so it's kind of incredible for April. And I've kind of got into the rhythm of doing online yoga classes and things, which I didn't ever think I would adjust to. But after, a few days of not having that, the local studio that I go to does daily classes. You sign up, you support them, you pay your money, and you feel like you're in that class. So I'm really trying to keep a routine of physical exercises for exercise, but also for my mindfulness, just to switch off, to relax, and then coming back and doing as much work as we can just now, remotely. Lots of Zoom calls, lots of phone calls, but again, that's something we were doing already. My boss installed video calling from us actually from the beginning of the year before the lockdown happened, so that's a regular thing for us every week. So trying to stay in touch with people, trying to stay positive, and just thankful that we can we can get out here and sort of keep healthy and keep active. And I think a number of people around here have taken up running and walking more than they ever did before. So it's nice to see that people are sort of falling in love with that sport again.
Seems to be the case, isn't it? All over the place. And I mean, talking about the team, so you're part of a remote team. It's a fairly small team, but I'm imagining you're in contact with all of the world marathon majors fairly regularly, and different situations happening all over the world, from Tokyo to London to Boston, and they all have their own different set of circumstances right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody will be aware who's in that marathon community or running world that unfortunately Tokyo wasn't able to happen for the mass runners. I was actually due to run that and work on it. So my plan B kicked in, and I actually went to Atlanta on that weekend while things were still open, watched the US Marathon Olympic trials, which were amazing. And then I ran their marathon the next day. So I was one of the lucky ones that actually got a marathon this year. Which was great. The week after, very different scenario. Everything was in lockdown. And then, this week I should really be in Boston, in the hotel, ready for next week's Boston Marathon. Unfortunately, that's postponed, but that's September the 14th. It's been rescheduled. And then London is currently, it's also been rescheduled to October the 4th. So we're all working towards a busy fall. And hopefully for everybody involved and for the runners, they get to realize their dreams. People, it's not so much just that one day, it's the 3 months, 4 months of training. And having done it twice myself now, I know how frustrated people are, but I think the tides are turning and people are seeing that, okay, there's a bigger picture here. It's not just about me and my marathon. They can still run, they can still maintain a level of fitness and then prepare for those fall races like other marathons are doing all over the world.
You were sharing some amazing stories of people. The next question I was going to ask you is about challenges, and I guess maybe personal challenges, work challenges, but the challenges of these people that are training for these marathons indoors, and some of them setting their own challenges, not specifically maybe for a world marathon major, but to raise money for the likes of the NHS and so on. And you were sharing some incredible stories before we came on air of the kind of training that some people are doing. I think you said one person running up their stairwell the height of Everest over 26 or 28 hours or something, did you say?
Yeah, I mean, people are really pushing their boundaries and giving themselves a focus. And I think everybody needs that now. And if you're someone who's a marathon runner or any kind of sort of sports enthusiast, you need that routine and you need that focus and that goal. We've heard from literally hundreds of people who are doing amazing things every day. We've had a gentleman did a marathon in his garage, which can be no more than sort of 10, 12 feet by 5 or 6 feet wide. One person ran a marathon around their kitchen table. I mean, easy for fuel, right? You just have your bottles on one table and you go around it. People using stairwells if they're not allowed outside, using their back gardens, changing it up, maybe not running, but doing different activities. One guy was doing squats daily with his little kid on his shoulders, People are really having fun with it now. And also at the same time, like you say, trying to raise money for lots of good causes, whether it's the NHS in the UK or other charities, but just trying to keep each other going and sharing positive stories. And we're trying to do that on a daily basis, just to keep people entertained and have some lighthearted moments, amongst all the negative and sort of, depressing news that you might see on the TV and other places. So we're trying to keep it positive, and just, keep people active and encouraging that as much as possible, and where it's safe to do. Every country's got different rules and regulations about running. So it's up to people to sort of follow their own rules of their countries and government's orders, but do what you can, and people can be creative with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I guess I was going to lead in a little bit to innovation, but just staying with that challenge for a while. In your role as communications, you would typically have all these lead ups to the events, and you'd have plenty of content right now. So it's interesting that you've got kind of amazing content, but very different content to what you might have been expecting to get.
Yeah, it's definitely more user generated. We've had a really positive response to that. And also, there's less focus. Obviously, we would normally be profiling elite runners and looking at the elite series as well, but it's much more now about the everyday runner. Just trying to give people a snapshot of what's happening in the world, enjoying it, but not also wanting to overdo it. I think there's a balance between having too much content out there. I think the first few weeks of lockdown, I think when I was looking through my own social media feed and people that I follow, I felt it was a bit too much, and I had to take a step back and just, spend less time on my phone. There was too many workouts. There was too many people giving advice. I think now it's more of a balance. People are understanding you don't need that every day. People are finding their own ways to navigate this in their own routine. And it's also important for people not to try and spout advice if they're not experts. Everybody wanted to get on the train and tell people how to do things and what to do when nobody really knows, or you're not that running coach, or you're not a psychologist. So it's doing things that are within your wheelhouse and making sure that you're giving content that fits what you are, what your brand is, what your company is, what your event is, but not sort of, telling people things they already know or that an expert should really be, advising. So I think a lot of companies have tried to sort of navigate that and are now finding their feet a little better and seeing what works for their audience and for their brand or organization.
Yeah, and it's a great point. I've heard so many people say that they just felt overwhelmed, that there was just so much content being thrown at them from every angle, and it seems to have kind of plateaued off a little bit. I mean, switching tracks a little bit. You mentioned being an expert and understanding your space. You shared with me that one of the things that you've signed up for during this period of time is a crisis counselling course, if I've got it correct. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, as something great that's come out of this for you.
Yeah, I felt, I mean, work is ticking along, thankfully for me. I'm very fortunate in that sense that we're kept busy, but I do have extra hours in the day, as many people do. And I just felt that I wanted to give back, and it's been on my mind for a little while, but wasn't sure what I could do. And reading a couple of articles, an opportunity or a link came up saying, these are some of the things you can do to volunteer online and help at home. Food banks don't want you helping because they're not taking volunteers for obvious reasons with virus spread, etc. So I registered an interest with an online organization called Crisis Text Line, and it's a US-based company. And what it does is it provides a text service to anybody in need who feels or finds themselves in a crisis situation, in a hot situation that they need to talk to someone, but perhaps don't have an outlet. It could be somebody who's bullied, somebody who's being abused, somebody who is suicidal, somebody who's self-harming. And they have a team of volunteers that work around the clock to provide that voice. So when you pick up the app and they're texting someone, they're texting a person. It's me or somebody else in the team. And it's really good from my side with communications. I'm currently in the training phase. I've got 30 hours of training. I have a coach. I have constant support. But it makes you think about your word choice and your tone, because I'm not doing a video call with these people. Everything is in Word. You're not face to face. So every word that you put down in that text reply is meaningful and important, and it can draw someone in and make them feel comfortable with you, or it can push them away, make them panic, make them feel like they've done something wrong and they don't trust you. So it's really interesting. I really think, I think it's going to help me in my day-to-day job as well, just in terms of how you speak to people, how you approach a situation, the words you use, not being too pushy in your questioning. You're wanting to draw the information out of someone and make them feel calm and cool. And I'm really enjoying it, and just happy that I'm able to, provide something, for people to connect with. So we'll see how it goes.
Wonderful. Congrats. That sounds amazing. Now you're in an organization and an industry that's full of inspiration. I mean, amazing stories of, elite athletes and normal athletes. And obviously I love to always finish the aid station with something inspiring. And I'd love to ask you if you've got a story or something that inspires you on a daily basis to keep you going through these times that you'd like to share with others.
Yeah, I think when I was thinking about the question, I had a few things so not particularly one story, but things I've sort of observed. I love the fact that I was reading about New Balance, which is a Boston-based athletics brand. They are now switching gear and helping to produce face masks and other important equipment. I think it's really fantastic to see companies adjusting and recognizing that what they normally do on a day-to-day basis isn't right now, and stepping up to the plate and helping produce things that people really need and are priority. So, you know, New Balance and other companies doing things like that, I think, is really, really positive. Just the general case that lockdown is really a leveler for everybody. I've noticed that, you know, there is no such thing as celebrity at the moment. Everybody is in the same position. Everybody is an equal. We're all dealing with this. It doesn't matter whether you're an elite athlete or a movie star or a pop star. Everybody is at home. And in the US, a lot of the talk show hosts are doing their shows from home. So if anybody can watch these on YouTube and other things, Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, I try and watch a bit of those every day, because you just see them as normal people doing a Zoom chat from their living room or their bedroom. You know, whether it's Matthew McConaughey or Justin Timberlake, whoever, they're all joining in. Everybody is just at home doing what we are doing. And I think that's a really nice realization that nobody is above this. We're all having to deal with it, but we can all find ways, and hopefully we're out of this sooner rather than later.
That's great. A great kind of level for humanity across the globe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lorna, it's been absolutely wonderful. As always, the time flies by. We could talk, as we've done over the years, for many more hours, but wonderful to reconnect with you. Thank you so much. I wish you all the very best with the fall season, and obviously we'll continue to be in touch. Thank you so much for your time. Great to see you.
Great to chat. Thanks, Chris. Bye for now.